I used to brag about her. Layla. 27. Smart, elegant, the kind of woman who lit up rooms without even trying. When we started dating, she said she worked in marketing at a small tech startup. She always wore business casual, carried a badge on a lanyard, and left the apartment every morning at 8:15 sharp. We lived together for almost a year before I realized something was off. It started small, little things. She never talked about coworkers. Never complained about her boss. Her office didn't come up in stories the way mine did. I'd say, "You won't believe what Karen in HR said today." And she'd just nod, distracted. I didn't think much of it. People compartmentalize. No big deal. But then, one Friday, I got off work early and thought I'd surprise her. I drove to the building she said she worked in, a 6-story glass box downtown. I'd passed it before. But this time, when I went inside and asked for her by name, the receptionist looked at me like I was crazy. "There's no one here by that name," she said. "Are you sure?" "She works in marketing." The woman double-checked the directory. "No Layla." "Sorry." I tried texting Layla. No response. Called. Straight to voicemail. I waited in my car for almost 2 hours. At 5:27 p.m., she finally walked out of the building. She wasn't in business clothes. She wore jeans, sneakers, and a hoodie I didn't recognize. No badge. No bag. She didn't see me. She just kept walking, fast, like she had somewhere to be. I didn't confront her that night. But the next morning, when I forgot my keys, I followed her. She didn't go to the office. She didn't even go downtown. She took a bus. Transferred. Then walked 3 blocks to a rundown strip mall and entered a back door with no sign. And stayed inside for 7 hours. That night I finally asked her, "What do you actually do, Layla?" She blinked. Then smiled. "You know what I do." But something in her eyes said otherwise. Something cold. I didn't sleep that night. Layla lay beside me, breathing slow and even, and I just watched the ceiling fan spin like it could somehow hypnotize the truth out of her. My mind raced. What was in that building? Why lie about work? Who was she when I wasn't looking? The next morning, I pretended everything was fine. Kissed her on the forehead. Said I was going to the gym. Instead, I set up a small camera facing our apartment door, motion activated. I had to know where she was really going every day. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I searched her name online. Her real name, Layla and Reed. Nothing. No LinkedIn. No company listings. Not even an old Facebook profile. She told me she deleted her social media for mental clarity. I'd bought it at the time. Now it felt more like a cover. That afternoon, when she left, the camera caught her, dressed normal, purse in hand, coffee to go. I followed at a distance. She didn't go to the strip mall this time. She walked 2 blocks, then got into a black sedan waiting at the curb. Not an Uber. No sticker. She hugged the driver. A man. Mid-30s. Bald. Sharp jawline. She kissed him on the cheek. They drove off. My heart was somewhere in my throat. I called my friend Kevin, the only person I trusted enough to not call me insane. "She might be cheating," I told him. "But that's not even the part that freaks me out." "Then what?" "She doesn't exist." That night, she came home around 9 p.m. I asked her how work was. She said it was boring, like always. Meetings, meetings, meetings. I just nodded. But now I had footage. Faces. Patterns. The next step? Figure out what that building in the strip mall really was. And who the man in the black sedan was. Because I was starting to think Layla wasn't lying about her job to cheat. She was hiding something way bigger than another man. She was hiding a whole other identity. I went back to the strip mall the next day. The building Layla had entered looked like an old chiropractor's office from the outside. No windows, no sign. Just a black door with a keypad and a security camera pointed straight down. I waited in my car for 3 hours. At 1:17 p.m., someone came out. A woman, mid-40s, well-dressed, sunglasses, expensive bag. She walked like she wasn't supposed to be seen. When the door clicked shut behind her, I got out and rushed it. I caught it before it fully latched and slipped inside. The hallway was dim, walls painted gray. A faint smell of incense, or some kind of oil, hung in the air. I passed one door with soft music behind it, something instrumental. Another with laughter. Then I heard it. Layla's voice. I stopped. Couldn't hear words, just her cadence. Calming. Persuasive. I found a small gap in a door frame and looked inside. There she was, sitting in a leather chair across from a man in tears. She had a notebook, legs crossed, a glass of wine beside her. She was counseling him. But not like a therapist. More like a confessor. He kept saying, "I know what I did. I just didn't know where else to go." Layla nodded, serene. "That's why we're here." I backed away. The exit sign was down the hall. I got out before anyone saw me. Back in the car, I tried to make sense of what I'd just seen. Was it a cult? A therapy scam? Something worse? I googled the address again. Nothing. Totally clean. I tried reverse image search with the man in the sedan from the footage. One hit. A business article from 5 years ago. Eli Stanford, former hedge fund exec, investigated for fraud and identity laundering. Laundering identity. That night, when Layla got home, she brought Thai food and acted like everything was normal. She laughed. She kissed me. She told me I was the only man who ever truly saw her. And all I could think was, I didn't see her at all. I bought a voice recorder. Slid it under the couch cushion before she got home. I knew I was crossing a line, but I'd already passed the point of return. If Layla was living a second life, I needed to hear her in it. Without the masks. Without the performance. That night, everything was perfect, too perfect. She cooked. We danced around the kitchen. She wore that old Eagles t-shirt I loved and let her guard down just enough to make me forget why my heart had started to harden. The next morning, when she left, I replayed the audio. At first, just dishes. Laughter. Music. But at timestamp 1 hour 13 minutes and 27 seconds, everything changed. A phone rang. She picked it up. Yeah. He's still buying it. No, I haven't told him anything yet. Honestly, he's not the problem. It's me. I thought I could do it clean this time. Pause. Because I liked him, okay? I let it drag on. I got sloppy. Then silence. Then her voice again, lower. But yeah? I know the timeline. I'll end it by next week. I sat frozen. My girlfriend, the woman I thought I'd marry, was talking about me like I was a side project. A case she let drag on. I didn't go to work that day. I sat there, replaying those sentences again and again, trying to reconcile the Layla I knew with the voice I'd just heard. By that evening, I'd made a plan. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I was going to follow her again. One more time. All the way to wherever the hell she was going when she got in that black car. But first I needed to know. What exactly was this project? And what happened to the people she left behind? I waited until she left the next morning, then pulled her old laptop from the back of the closet. I'd seen her use it once, early in our relationship, then never again. She claimed it. Barely ran anymore. But when I opened it, it booted up fast. Smooth. Recently used. No password. What I found inside made my skin crawl. There were folders. Dozens of them. Each named after a man's first name and last initial. Eli S. Bryce H. Mark D. And at the bottom, Noah K. My name. Each folder had notes. Dates. Photos. Typed transcripts of conversations. Financial data. Emotional triggers. I opened my own folder. Noah K., quiet, eager, emotionally attached. Rebuilding confidence after bad breakup. Introed with support narrative, you deserve peace. Susceptible to validation-based manipulation. Goal, 6 to 8 months. Outcome TBD. It was clinical. Like I was an experiment. Further down the dock. Risk of emotional entanglement, high. Must detangle before project closes. Secure off-ramp location. Off-ramp? I clicked back to Bryce H. Same format. Only his file had a closing entry. Terminated project, November 2022. Emotional breach. Severe. Relocation initiated. I searched his name online. Found a death notice. Overdose. No foul play suspected. My stomach turned. Back in my own folder was a note I hadn't seen the first time. Just 2 lines. Final conversation scheduled for March 3rd. Clean exit required. Today was March 2nd. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't eat. Didn't blink too long. I just sat in front of that laptop, reading the file on me over and over again, like if I memorized every word, I could somehow stop what was coming. March 3rd. Final conversation. Clean exit. I didn't know if that meant a breakup, a ghosting, or something worse. But I knew one thing. Layla had done this before. To other men. And at least one of them didn't survive it. I followed her again that morning. She didn't go to the strip mall. She took the freeway west. Drove to a lakeside cabin about 2 hours out. She mentioned the place once, said her family owned it. A peaceful retreat. I never saw it in person. She parked. Got out. Waited. 15 minutes later, the man in the black sedan arrived. Eli Stanford. She hugged him. But it wasn't romantic. It was business. I couldn't hear much, but I recorded everything from the woods nearby. He handed her a folder. She gave him a flash drive. They nodded like a deal had been made. Then she said something I did hear. He'll be out of the picture tonight. My throat closed up. I went back to my car. Heart racing. I called Kevin, the only person who might believe me. He picked up on the second ring. Dude, you okay? No. She's trying to erase me. And she's done it before. There was silence. Then Kevin said, Come over. Now. I'm not letting you be alone. I drove back into the city. My mind spiraled through a dozen scenarios. Poison. A car accident staged to look like a suicide. Maybe she'd take my laptop, delete everything, say I was unstable. She was meticulous. Brilliant. Cold. When I got to Kevin's, he met me outside and said, You need to call the police. I laughed. About what? That my girlfriend had a project folder on me. But even as I said it, I knew. If I didn't do something now, there wouldn't be a final conversation. There'd just be a final version of me. I went home and waited. The apartment was too quiet. Sterile, almost. Like it had already forgotten I lived there. I set up 2 hidden cameras, one in the hallway, one in the living room, and left the laptop on the coffee table, screen open, my folder visible. I wanted her to see it. I wanted her to know I knew. At 7:06 p.m., the door opened. Layla walked in holding 2 grocery bags like nothing was wrong. She kissed me on the cheek, asked how my day was, and started unpacking salmon and sparkling water. I said nothing. Just watched. When she turned around and saw the laptop screen, she froze. Half a second. Then the smile snapped back in place. You were never supposed to see that, she said softly. No kidding, I replied. Who's Eli? She tilted her head. You read everything, didn't you? Bryce. Mark. The overdoses. The timelines. The lies. What are you, some kind of con artist cult leader? Layla chuckled. Not cruelly, almost with pity. No, Noah. I'm a mirror. That's all I've ever been. She sat down, perfectly calm, like we were having wine after dinner. You wanted someone who understood you, listened, helped you feel seen. I gave you that. I do that for a living. For men like you. Men who ache for connection. I swallowed hard. And when you're done with them, you destroy them. No, she said, almost offended. I release them. But most of you can't handle the silence after it's gone. She stood up. And that's not on me. A knock at the door interrupted us. Layla didn't flinch. I invited Eli, she said, to pick up my things. I figured you'd find the files by now. You always get curious around month 7. I stared at her. You really think I'm just going to let you walk out? She smiled. No. I think you're going to let me leave, because you still want to believe I was real. I didn't stop her. She left with Eli, just like that, no suitcase, no tears, no drama. Just one last look over her shoulder, like she was walking out of a performance that never really needed an audience. I didn't sleep. Didn't move. I just sat there, trying to put myself back together in a room that still smelled like her perfume. The next morning, I found the USB drive. It was in my coat pocket. I don't know when she put it there. Just one folder. Titled, Closure. Inside, a single audio file. I pressed play. Layla's voice. Calm. Steady. A confession. Noah, if you're listening, then I didn't finish the work. You lasted longer than most. Not because you were different, but because I was tired. You want answers? Fine. I told you once that I mirror people. What I didn't say is that people like you build entire lives around lies they want to believe. I just shaped myself to fit them. You wanted a savior. So I became her. You wanted someone to blame when you couldn't fix yourself. So I gave you someone to break. But I never lied about one thing: I did care. That's the part one never managed well. And that's why I have to disappear. Silence. Then. You were never a project, Noah. You were a mirror too. And I hated what I saw in us both. The recording ended. That was 6 months ago. I haven't seen her since. The apartment's quiet now. The cameras are gone. The laptop too. Sometimes I check online for her face. Nothing. Not a trace. Like she never existed. But I know she did. Because every time I get close to someone new, I hear her voice in the back of my mind. You were never meant to last. And I wonder, did I lose a con artist? Or the only person who ever truly saw me? The end.